Hello and welcome there today on this nice sunny day on Cliff Notes podcast. Today we're joined by Joe Reynolds from MTD CNC. Hello there, Joe.
Hi, how you doing?
Good, thanks. Yourself?
Yeah, I'm really good. Thanks for having me on.
Cool. And could you give us a little bit of a background? I know you've been working in sort of design and tooling, and now you're working more on the sort of marketing side and helping people choose them. What's your sort of background?
Yeah, okay. So since '96, I've been involved in the wonderful world of manufacturing. Started by designing and manufacturing cutting tools, and then later went on to apply and sell those. And of course, now I do the marketing of those. So I've seen it from both sides of the fence, if you like. Obviously, at MTD CNC, we get involved in all aspects of manufacturing, including machine tools, cutting tools, 3D printing of blades, lubricants, and basically all the equipment around the machine tool, essentially.
Okay. So you're a good shop for researching out new purchases, but also helping people market out their own product.
Yeah, quite. People come to MTD for a number of reasons, but some of the main reasons would be to educate themselves. So they're looking, they know there's new machine tools in the market. They're coming to see us for educational purposes. What does it do? What the features and benefits of that product, and dive into the detail. Or they might be simply, in the market for a machine or a cutting tool, and they come to us and they place an inquiry via our channels. And obviously that goes through to the supplier, and that's where our paths cross, really. But we from that point forward, we leave them to it.
And what brought you to this? You got an engineering background in this?
Yeah, it's all I've ever done, engineering. So I bought into MTD probably, time flies, isn't it? About 6 years ago now. But prior to that, as I say, I had a tooling company and various other jobs in and around the cutting tool sector. So yeah, it's all I've ever done, unfortunately.
Well, makes you the good expert and not just a salesman. You're used to handling the parts and working out what the efficiencies are, right?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I don't class myself as a salesman anymore. Of course, we've got to sell. Selling is the heart of any business, so we do have to sell. But no, we're pretty good at marketing. That's what sets us aside, really. Most people within our business are engineers, whether that be Paul Jones is Rolls-Royce apprentice, and obviously myself, I went through a full apprenticeship as well. Slightly different to Paul's, but yeah, we're engineers, and that's what makes us different, really. There's probably, I don't know where you live, but if you did a Google search, there's probably 100 within 10 miles of your house marketing companies. But what sets us aside is our engineering background.
Right, and so you just focus on sort of CNC shops and tool manufacturers and that focused area.
Yeah. As it stands, we've got MTD CNC, which is equipment, whether it be a machine tool, a 3D printer, a robot, cutting tools, coolants, and things like this. And then we've got the MTD network, which is basically people that purchase those equipment. So subcontract engineers, as a rule, would use the MTD network. And then in Q4 this year, we're actually rolling out the MTD manufacturing channel, which is basically, as the name would suggest, it's a channel based on the manufacturing sector, but with the love and care that MTD CNC and MTD network have shown over the years.
So that personalised touch that you guys, you know your numbers, you know how things work, and you're across so many different these high quality ranges that you're just a trusted source for people to be able to come and learn about this stuff when they're looking for a new machine or their capacities are changing and they need to sort of scale up or scale in the different volumes or different materials.
Yeah, quite. Yeah, we'd like to think that. We think we're probably there now. We've been climbing the mountain for quite some years now, but most people know of us now. So yeah, we would hope to think that the majority of people come to us first. Obviously with the the emergence of the internet and social media, people tend to come to places such as MTD CNC for that type of information now.
And have you seen sort of online growing and now competing more with sort of trade press and local newspapers and trade shows?
Yeah, crikey. You say competing. I don't think it's any surprise to anyone that, magazine advertising and trade shows and other things, they may still have a place, but your number one spend should be online, whether it be MTD or your own organic stuff or PPC or what have you. That should be your first point of call to market and manage your business.
And if a machine shop's looking to get bigger, taking on more customers, but they don't yet have a sort of large scale marketing department, or their marketing department's more focused to outsourcing and doing more trade stuff, is that something that you provide? Is helping fill that gap while people are scaling up their own teams?
Yeah, absolutely. So we offer pretty much the whole marketing mix, so we can do anything you like for within your business. But what it tends to be is people come to us, they might have capacity to fill, but like you quite rightly say, you might be looking to scale up, but quite often in an SME, they might not even have a marketeer within that business. So the same person that's doing their social media might be raising an invoice one day, and they might be in a van delivering goods the following day. So we just offer a more professional feel to that. And in terms of costing, it's much cheaper than actually employing somebody. I wouldn't suggest don't employ somebody. If you have got revenue, great, go employ a marketing manager. But we work well with marketing departments, or we can essentially be your marketing department. So, but yeah, so we got 90 odd customers, and we haven't got too similar really. From the outside looking in, it might be similar, but for what we do for them in packages, pretty much everyone's different and unique to that client.
Mm-hmm. And from watching your great videos on YouTube and on your site, you do seem to be always around the country and visiting and actually getting out and talking to people and putting a face to these businesses and letting them show them the sort of machines and capabilities they have.
Yeah, for sure. We've been doing video media for around 5 years now, and it's what we're known for. It's probably only 50% of what we actually do, but it is what we are known for. Our channel now is well over 250,000 engineers per month engaging with us in video media and other various activities. But if I would suggest you do it, if you've got a machine shop or if you've got equipment to sell, whether you employ us or not. Obviously, if you employ us, you've got the benefit of our channel and other advantages. But even if you're not going to employ us, just do it. Do social media, do some quite inexpensive software and DSLR cameras now, or even your iPhone, to be fair. Do some videos on your business, do some machining strategies. People are picking up on this now, whether it's because people are following what we're doing, I'm not sure, but it's the number one thing you can do in my eyes, to be honest with you. You don't need a big marketing budget to do it. You can do it for a few £100 or maybe a couple of grand if you wanted a big, a corporate video and various other smaller ones. But you've got to do it, honestly. Video's there forever, isn't it? If you do a press release, you might get lucky and somebody might read it, but the following month it's in the bin, isn't it? So
it just adds that level of engagement with someone, and they can you can list out a sort of spec sheet of 12 machines in your shop or something, but if you can actually see some people walking around and you get a bit more of a feel, I can imagine you're much more likely to then reach out and want to speak to those people, because you can see that they're friendly, trusted people who know what they're talking about.
Absolutely. Like just away from work this weekend, my dishwasher broke down. So the first thing I do is go onto YouTube and put the fault in, and you watch a video of some American guy fixing it. You need to change this part and change that part. And then on Sunday, I'm in the market for a new vehicle. So where do I go? I go to YouTube and I review the vehicle I'm looking at. So it's, even business aside, we do a lot of B2B. But in terms of my in terms of my my life, my personal life, I use YouTube every day. Whether it be listening to music, looking to solve a problem, looking for a product review. Just the way of the world, isn't it? Unless it's me, it just doesn't like reading. I don't know.
And so if people are reaching out to you, you can give them advice as to, should they be doing one video? Should they be doing one video a week? Should they be doing a whole package? Just give them a sort of feel of where to go with it, as part of the mix of your other marketing.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. And marketing mix, that's a good term to use. The marketing mix, it's video is very, very important, but you can't just do a video and stick it on a YouTube channel and hope it'll stick, because it isn't quite that straightforward. In truth, you do need to do a bit of blogging, social media, get people to your channel, as I say, or employ us to do it and stick it on our channel, of course. Whereas that problem's that you don't have that issue then. But yeah, no, it's inexpensive, but it's definitely worth doing.
It must give you a bit of insight, extra insight to the market to always be sort of working with these sort of new products and the latest releases. Are you seeing particular industry trends come through and can be able to sort of review and take that stuff in?
Yeah, it's always evolving, isn't it? It's machine tools are evolving, the cutting tools, CAD, everything is getting better, to be honest with you. And obviously, automation's been around, I don't know, probably 50 years of automation's been out now. But this last 2 to 3 years, it's really starting to take off. People are putting it down to Industry 4.0, but in all honesty, it was happening anyway. But it's quite inexpensive now, automation. If done correctly, you can clean up. If you're fortunate to have a job running 24 hours a day, 365 days of the year, and you run that at £20 an hour, that's actually £175,000 a year. So, and I don't suppose there's many people listening that quote work at £20 an hour. You can't make a living doing that. That's what people will tell you. But if done correctly, you apply automation, you can make good money at that. So yeah, automation's one point. Obviously, we talk about AM a lot, additive manufacturing, whether that be plastic 3D printing or the metal additive. That's changed a lot. The technology curve on that is, on additive, is just crazy. I was at HK 3D Solutions only last week looking at some of their new products, and it's unbelievable. The printers they've got coming out there, they've got high-end carbon fiber 3D printers, very inexpensive, well, relatively inexpensive for the technology, and they're just launching what I would class as the first affordable SME 3D printer, which is actually metal. So there's a lot of metal additive manufacturing machines out there, but this one is actually, I see it being sat in an office, in a design office, in an SME. You don't need to be a large company anymore. The barrier to entry has been significantly reduced. So I think you'll see that a lot now, whereas 10 years ago, everyone was talking about it, but the technology was fairly new. The prices were very high and very few could afford it, whereas additive manufacturing now should be at the forefront of your mind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I work with a few companies that do sort of prototyping and sort of small scale sort of quick work to get parts and fits sizing done, but definitely seen larger scale of just the new materials and the more flexible materials that you can get some parts out that can be usable or testable for fit, and especially also for legacy parts. I was talking to Steve at Physical Digital. They do all their 3D scanning and sort of quality control for even for legacy parts and stuff where the plans and stuff don't exist anymore. Being able to scan those back in and test printing out new parts can be very, very efficient for stuff like airplanes and large boats where you don't have the parts around for 30, 100 years, but you might not still have all the drawings and stuff. So definitely seen a good move in that.
For sure, and you'll probably find they're not right to draw in anyway. So it's reverse engineering is just one application area, but I think the best application area for additive, so I'm talking metal 3D printing, additive manufacturing, is parts you can't manufacture in any other fashion. I've got a good friend of mine. Is a high level designer, and he's always had the issue. He designs a part, and then you can't manufacture that essentially. So then you've got a design to manufacture. Whereas now that's all but been alleviated. So you can actually design what you want now and have it printed. So.
Also stock control on some parts where you must keep parts around. As I was saying, that there's definitely an area for those impossible parts and parts where you just don't want to keep all that stuff around. You can just make them to order.
Exactly, and a great example is that's a war zone. Whereas in years gone by, they would fly out millions of pounds worth of parts, whereas now they just fly out through additive manufacturing machines. It seems ridiculous, doesn't it? But your helicopter lands because there's an error of a part. You can't get a part quick enough. Let's print one. It's incredible, really.
Mm-hmm. And so back with the automation, I mean, are you definitely seeing that as now a sort of percentage change now per shop, per business is that number is growing to whatever it is, that 10-30% of shop floor space is into automation.
Yeah, in terms of UK SMEs that we go to visit, I would say I've never looked at the numbers, but I would suggest 1 in 20 use automation. And when I say automation, I'm not talking. Obviously in a basic sense, everybody uses a bar feeder on a CNC lathe. You'd never dream of buying a lathe without a bar feed, really, unless you're doing some low volume billet work. So why would you buy a milling machine without automation? It's the same thing, really. But for whatever reason, the UK have been slow on the uptake on automation in a lot of areas, but it is getting better. It's definitely getting better. And I'd predict within 10 years, if you're not embracing automation, I think you're going to be in a bit of bother, to be honest with you. Certainly if you're doing any medium to large volume and you're not automating it, it's if you haven't got the money, finance it. If you financed it over 3 years, it's cheaper than having a minimum wage person stood there.
Speaking to some people with the sort of change with the European environment, and also looking to reshore, that efficiency of scale can be gained with doing that automation for lights out, and just doing those manual jobs that you don't want someone sat there with.
Yeah, robots and pallet systems are not designed to get rid of people. They're not designed to create redundancies. What you'll find, if you look at the numbers, the companies that embrace automation to a medium to high level, they actually grow, and with the growth comes employment. Okay, you might not be employing machine loaders or machine tenders, but you need programmers. You're making more parts, so you might need more van drivers. You're doing more programming, so you might need a bigger CAD office, CAM office rather. You're selling more, so you need a bigger accounts department. Do you see what I mean? So you might, where you're losing a job, you'd be creating jobs elsewhere within your business. So you need to look at it for sure.
And then just to sort of come back on that, have you got any advice then that you see for shop owners at the moment, or are people considering changing their tools and machines? Any areas that you've been looking at, or especially appealing at the moment?
Well, in all honesty, you've always got to be evolving. That's easy for me to say, sat in my ivory tower. But if you've got a machine shop and you've been using the same tools for 4, 5, 6 years, which a lot of people have, probably the majority have, look elsewhere. Get your tooling reps in and ask for a bit of advice. Instead of fighting the local rep for 2 or 3% discount, get them in and don't talk discount. Talk about productivity. How can I get my parts off quicker? Have you got an end mill to speed this up? Is this the right insert for this job? And you'll be amazed. Stop talking price of product and actually talk about productivity, because that's where the money's made.
Yeah, being able to go back to the reps for improvements in performance as much as just price, and even after you've purchased the tools, does seem a wise avenue. Yeah,
for sure. And the same with the machine tool guys. There's a lot of value added in a machine tool. You're not just looking at the list price. You're looking at the value added. What happens if my machine breaks down? Can I get somebody in? What happens? I don't just want a machine tool anymore. I want it to come fully loaded with my tooling on the machine. I want my robot stood next to it, and I want my next 5 jobs already programmed. Can my current machine tool vendor do that? It's not always the case, but there are things to think about other than purchasing a machine tool and just any old cutting tool. Put a bit of thought into it.
And visit your website and get some more education, eh? Just to bring it full circle.
Yeah. And when your robots running the machines, you've got nothing to do. Just go to MTD and watch some videos and educate yourself. Yeah, quite right.
That's cool. Well, thanks very much for joining us today. I don't know are you guys going to be at trade shows or anything else coming up soon, or who's a good person to get in contact with if people are looking to expand their marketing?
Yeah, well, we're at most trade shows, as most people will know. But the next big one, I guess, we're going to EMO in Germany, which is in September. So if you're over in EMO, give us a shout and we'll catch up. But obviously, failing that, we come to most UK trade shows. MAC 2018 it'll be here before you know it, won't we? It's 10 months away now, so we'll be there as we always are. But yeah, if you want us to come and see, if you want any marketing advice or just any advice in general, really give us a shout.
Cool. That's great. Well, thanks for joining us today, and enjoy your afternoon.
Likewise. Thanks for your time.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Cliff Notes. If you want to get in contact with us, or you have some feedback for our guest, then please do so on the Holdingbay website, holdingbay.co.uk, or reach out to me on Twitter at Tristan Bailey, or the company at the Holdingbay. Thank you.